Hello my friends, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alyssa and today we are talking about plant-based slim down secrets. I get a lot of questions from you guys about losing weight on a plant-based diet. So today I thought I would do a little video and kind of talk through my 5 best tips, and really they're more of secrets for slimming down on a plant-based diet. I don't know if I've mentioned this in my videos before, but I actually am a certified holistic nutritionist. I got my certification last year, and the basis of the program was plant-based eating. So I've done a lot of reading about plant-based eating, and today I want to share some of my best secrets. So the first one is to up your fiber intake to support your gut. I'm sure many of you have heard that having optimal gut health or having a healthy gut is really important for a healthy kind of overall system. A lot of stuff happens in our gut and it impacts a lot of the other processes that happen in our bodies. And when our digestive system is on track, we're able to absorb more nutrients from our food and we're able to eliminate toxins. So that's basically the main point of our digestive system, is to get nutrients from our food and then eliminate what we don't need. So one of the best ways that we can support our digestive system is by eating fiber. Luckily, if you're already following a primarily plant-based diet, you're probably eating a lot of fiber already, but fiber-rich foods are things like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, a lot of naturally plant-based foods in general. And the benefit of having fiber in our diet is that it not only stimulates digestive juices, so that's like getting the digestive enzymes going and helping our food break down, but it also adds bulk to our bowel movements, which means that we are able to better eliminate the toxins from our body. So 2 of the other things that I love about fiber-rich foods are that they take longer to chew in general. So that means that once they hit our stomach, they're already more broken down, meaning that it's easier for our belly to put that through to our intestines. And then fiber-rich foods also take longer to digest. So that means that when we're eating a diet rich in fiber and fibrous foods, we are able to stay fuller for longer, we're getting more energy, and again, it's helping keeping our digestive system more regular. So really, fiber is amazing. And what I've done with today's video is that I've actually put together a free guide that you guys can download that talks about all of these different tips in a little bit more detail. So click the link in the description box below to download that guide, because I'm gonna talk about some of my favorite fiber-rich foods in that guide. And instead of just kind of making this a huge long video, like a 30-minute video, we're gonna try to keep it a little bit more short. So download that guide and let's move on to secret number 2. Secret number 2 is that raw food isn't always better. And I know that this is gonna be a little bit controversial, especially on YouTube, because there are a lot of raw vegans on YouTube, but it's my personal belief that you need to have a balance of both raw foods and cooked foods in your diet. So the benefit of raw food is that the food has not been heated and it retains all of the nutrients. But the downside of raw food is that it is a little bit harder on our digestive system and it is harder to kind of move through our system in general. However, what's interesting, and I was reading this in a lot of my nutrition information, is that there are some vegetables in particular that actually you get more nutrients from when you cook them. So that's because the cooking process or the heating process is breaking down the plant walls, and that ends up releasing the nutrients, and it's able to help us and our digestive systems absorb those nutrients because they've been released from the plant cells walls and they're just easily ready there for absorption. Another question I'm sure you guys are going to ask about cooking is that what cooking method is best? So I don't want to go through all of the different cooking methods right now, but if you do download that guide, I have my favorite cooking methods in the order listed that I recommend. But basically what I want to give you an example of is a sweet potato. So think about a sweet potato, a whole raw sweet potato. Usually you're not going to eat a sweet potato raw, but sweet potatoes are amazing. They're high in fiber, they're high in vitamin A and vitamin K. Everybody knows that sweet potatoes are healthy for you. But look at sweet potato fries versus a baked potato. So the sweet potato fries have been deep fried in a most likely low quality oil, and then the baked sweet potato is just a whole sweet potato that's been cooked and is soft. And you are going to be getting a lot more nutrition and nutrients from that baked sweet potato than you would from the fries. So it does matter the method that you're using to cook. And again, if you want to see my list, click the link in the description box below and download that guide. Secret number 3 is just because it's vegan, it doesn't mean it's healthy. I think a lot of us get caught up in labels on foods, and we assume that if something is gluten-free or something is low-fat or something is vegan, that it means it's healthy. And that is not the case. The prime example, and one of the best examples that I like to give, is an Oreo. So Oreos are vegan, but are Oreos healthy? Like, no. You're not gonna lose weight eating a sleeve of Oreos. So what I wanna encourage you guys to do is read your labels. If you're going to the supermarket and you're picking up plant-based foods, just look at the box and look at the ingredients that are used in that food. If you recognize everything on the list and they are whole food sources, that is fine by me. I would say buy it. If there are things in there like additives and preservatives or other things that you don't recognize, I would say put that back and move on to another product that might be a little bit more whole. So really the goal here is to incorporate as many whole foods into your diet as possible, and you want them to be as close to the source as possible. So of course, when you're buying a cracker, for example, it's already been cooked, but if the flours that are derived in that cracker are from whole brown rice or whole quinoa or millet, whatever it is, you know that you're getting more nutrients than something that is highly processed. And how does that relate to slimming down? Basically, when you have a diet rich in whole foods, your digestion is easier. We're talking a lot about digestion today, but it's important because when your digestion is good, you're getting rid of the toxins. But when you're eating a lot of processed food and junk, those toxins are swirling around in your body and you just aren't able to get rid of the weight because your body is just kind of holding on to these toxins. They're going into your fat cells, and it's just not a remedy for success. And I know I keep mentioning this guide, but I have included more information in the guide. And one of the things with this secret that I included is the 5 things that I always avoid on nutrition labels. So if you want to see that, make sure to download it from the link below. Secret number 4 is that portion control still matters. Even if we're eating an incredibly healthy diet, we're eating a lot of fiber-rich foods, we're eating fruits, vegetables, legumes, it still matters the quantity that we're eating. So I'm sure you know, there is this concept of calories in versus calories out, and there is truth to that. If we're consuming more calories than our bodies are naturally using up, whether that's through exercise or just our daily life, then we're gonna be gaining weight because our body has an excess amount of calories. What I think is interesting about calories is that every person is different, and the amount of calories that you're gonna need depends on a variety of factors, including your gender, your height, your weight, your age, your activity level. And if you think of that in terms of a person, so a man who is 6'3" and is a pro athlete, he is going to need way more daily calories than somebody like me who's 5'3", and even though I exercise, I still sit at a desk and work on my computer a lot. So you do have to kind of adjust the amount of calories that you need every single day, and that's where a food journal can really help. So I recommend that you guys just start by writing down the quantity of food that you're eating. You don't necessarily have to put a calorie number next to that. Really just the idea is that you're gonna learn how much you're eating, and you might learn something interesting. I think a lot of times we, especially in terms of snacks or maybe our meals, we think that we're eating less than we actually are. Smoothies are a really great example of that. A lot of times we use smoothies as a snack, and sometimes smoothies are really high in calories because a lot goes into them. If you have bananas, you have fruit, you have avocado, you have nut butter, you have protein, the amount of calories that is in that snack-sized smoothie, that might be more of a meal-sized smoothie for you. So really the goal of the food journal is just to give you an idea of how much quantity of food you're eating, and then you can potentially adjust based on where you're at. And the extra stuff that's in the guide for this one is that I am giving you a formula for how I build my plant-based plate. So if you want to see that, click the link in the description box below. And then secret number 5 is to meal prep like a boss. You guys know that I talk a lot about meal prep, and a lot of you really enjoy meal prepping. I've done a few meal prep videos, so if you want to see that entire series, I've also linked that in the description box below. But what's great about meal prep is that it sets you up for success for the entire week. When you're meal prepping, you're much more likely to reach for those healthy foods. You kind of have your set meals, so you don't need to worry about what you're going to eat for lunch and then end up reaching for something that isn't as nutritious for you. In terms of the timing for meal prep, really that's based on your schedule. A lot of people it works over the weekend, but if you work on the weekends, you can adjust. Sometimes you don't even have to meal prep for the entire week. You could just meal prep a few days at a time. And really, the best thing about meal prep is that it's ultimately gonna help you get to that goal weight because you're reaching for those foods that are healthy and those foods that are supporting your healthy goal. So I get a lot of questions about if you need anything special for meal prep, and the answer is no. If you have containers at home, you have plastic bags, or you have tinfoil, you can totally start meal prepping. I do recommend that at some point in your meal prepping journey, you transition over to glass containers just because they are more non-toxic and they are also heat proof, so you can heat them up when you get to the office, or you can heat up leftovers when you get home from the office or school, whatever you do. And then the other question I get a lot about meal prep is how long the food lasts. And what's great about meal prepping on a plant-based diet is that plant-based foods last longer in the fridge than animal-based products. So you don't really have to worry about spoilage as much with plant-based foods. My general rule of thumb is that if you are storing stuff in the fridge, it will last up to 5 days. Sometimes you can go to 6. And then if you're storing stuff in the freezer, it lasts up to 6 months, and you can even go longer than that sometimes. So if you're meal prepping for a plant-based diet, that food is gonna last you a lot longer. And again, it's just setting you up for success, and it's gonna help you reach your healthy goal or your goal weight, if weight loss is one of your goals, much more quickly because you have all of that food in front of you. You know exactly what you're gonna eat, and you can plan for your week. So I hope you guys found these tips helpful. Again, I put together a free guide, it's 100% free, that outlines these in more detail. It talks a little bit more about some of the best ways that you can slim down on a plant-based diet. So if that is one of your goals, if you're interested in that, I've linked that in the description box below. You can just tap that link, enter your email, and I will send you the guide. And if you guys have any specific questions about plant-based eating, definitely leave them in the comments below. I do get a lot of questions about it, so I want to make sure that I'm covering topics that you guys are curious about. And if you have specific questions or you want to learn more about my personal plant-based journey, I did a video on that like a year ago maybe now, and I will put that link in the description box below so you can watch that if you want. And other than that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, I would love for you to join us here on YouTube. There's a red button that says subscribe right below this video, so you can just click that button and automatically subscribe yourself. And other than that, I hope you have a really lovely rest of your day. Bye guys!